Hi everyone, I'm Sophie Milburn, editor of the MSP Channel Insights portfolio, and I'm joined today by Aaron from usecure. So would you be able to start by telling us a little bit about yourself, your journey into cybersecurity, and what kind of led you to where you are at usecure today?
Yes, good afternoon. So yes, my name's Aaron Watts. I'm the Chief Channel Officer of usecure. I have been with usecure exactly 2 months today. I've spent the last 12 years of my career in the channel, having spent around a decade in cloud distribution. Most recently, I was the VP of Sales for Pax8 in EMEA, having built that from the ground up. And so my interaction with cybersecurity has been at least a decade long, and seeing the evolution that we see now, the sheer array of cybersecurity vendors and ISVs that we see in the ecosystem.
Fantastic. Usecure's platform is built around human risk management. So why is focusing on kind of people rather than just technical controls so important today in how organizations start to defend themselves?
Yeah, so I mean, for a long time, cybersecurity has been treated as a technical problem, whether that's firewalls, patching, endpoint protection, which are all critical controls. But the reality today is that attackers often start with people. So whether that's phishing, social engineering, credential harvesting, these attacks rely on behavior, not just vulnerabilities in the software. So the shift towards human risk management is about recognizing that people are part of the attack surface. The goal is to not blame users, it's to support them with the right training, the right policies, and the right signals so they can make safer, more informed decisions. What organizations are looking for now is consistency. They want to know that employers are learning continuously, the risky behaviors are being addressed, and they can demonstrate, and that's crucial, the demonstration progress over time. And that is where ultimately automation becomes important. When training, phishing simulations, policy management, and breach monitoring, work together, organizations can actively manage the human risk rather than reacting to it.
Fantastic. And I like that you mentioned there about that there's no blame, because as humans, we are going to make mistakes and these things are going to happen. So yeah, it's important. But those things that you mentioned there as well with, security awareness, phishing resilience, policy management, and breach monitoring, what are kind of the biggest opportunities and challenges for service providers trying to help clients strengthen their security posture with all of those things combined?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple of factors at play here. I mean, for service providers, this area presents a strong opportunity because many organizations, especially in the small to medium segment of the SMB, know that the human element matters, but they struggle to manage it internally. You've also got the compliance and regulatory frameworks that customers and partners are also looking to adhere to as well. I spoke about this last week at the Pax8 event. Cyber Essentials making shifts now, so they're not looking to have security awareness training as an example. It's just a tick box exercise. They're looking for that ongoing evolution. But look, running training programs manually, it takes time. Tracking who's completed what training, whether policies have been acknowledged, or whether employees are improving their security posture via phishing simulation, it adds up and it creates complexity for MSPs. Ironically, at a time where MSPs are looking to reduce that complexity in both their and their customers' organizations. But MSPs are ultimately well placed to solve this problem by way of a managed service. They can deliver consistent training across clients, monitor behavior through the phishing simulations, managing policies centrally, and even alert organizations and when employee credentials appear offline. And it also allows the MSP to open up different types of conversations with decision makers within their customer base. It may be that historically they're speaking to the business owner, maybe even a technical contact. If the organization is large enough and there's a HR function, whether insourced or outsourced, human risk management is a applicable conversation with HR and people operations as much as it is a technical control within the IT security stack.
Yeah, fantastic. And how do you kind of go about balancing that human-centric approach with trying to still scale and still implementing that, the automation that you spoke about? How do you kind of strike that balance, I guess?
Yeah, and I think the key is obviously balance in that statement. I mean, automation is essential if you want human risk management to work at scale for MSPs, and if you want to be able to reduce the complexity and those barriers to entry. An MSP doesn't want to work with a solution that is going to increase complexity. Ultimately, they want something that is going to work seamlessly alongside their existing tech stack. usecure looks to strike that balance through hyper-personalization. It is user and role-based training. The MSP can determine the level of granularity in which they manage or co-manage those environments. Automation shouldn't mean just generic content or one size fits all, and that's a lot of what shaped our product roadmap, is that feedback either from existing partners or customers, or indeed what we see in the market, moving away from generic non-engaging content, looking to find that, like I said, hyper-personalization opportunity. The goal is to make the program adapt to the user. If someone struggles with phishing simulation, the platform should respond via the training module. And if someone demonstrates strong awareness, the program should evolve with them. Nobody likes to see that email pop up on a Monday or a Friday to say, hey, you've got scheduled training, and think, oh, another generic piece of content that isn't applicable to where I'm at on my cyber resilience journey. And I think that approach keeps the experience relevant, and it avoids training fatigue. Like I said, it's about taking the awareness element of our training from being a tick box mandatory exercise to an ongoing, continuous, evidence-based program.
With threats increasingly targeting individuals, how should organizations kind of prioritize that human risk compared to traditional technical security investments?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't an either or situation. I mean, technical security controls remain essential, and no organization can operate without them. But what we are now seeing is that many attacks bypass these controls and look to target the individuals directly. An email that persuades someone to click a link or approve a login can open the door regardless of how strong that infrastructure protection is. So organizations should think about security as a balance. Technology protects the systems, while human risk management strengthens behavior. And that is ultimately what we are focused on. Changing and driving improved behaviors within the workplace. So when both layers work together, organizations can reduce their exposure to the types of attacks that we see most frequently today.
Yeah, and we've got that kind of the new Cyber Essentials coming in next month, or this month is April, yeah, no, next month. So how do you see kind of human risk management aligning with that, and how that's going to kind of evolve things and change things?
Yeah, and I think this is part of the challenge that a lot of MSPs and their customers have as well, is maintaining an understanding of that ever evolving compliance landscape. There are dozens of frameworks and regulations that any one given customer can be susceptible towards, and it increases when you move into some of the more heavily regulated industries as well. And even if we take Cyber Essentials as an example, you spoke about kind of the changes in some of their approach. They've recently introduced, I think as of last week, expectations that there's mandatory MFA for all users. There's the 14-day patching role. And again, without laboring the point so much, it's about MSPs being able to evidence the not just role and implementation of security awareness training, but the progression, the behavioral changes, and the impact that those trainings are having on the organization. And in turn, for any customers or partners that are looking into the cybersecurity, cyber insurance ecosystem to potentially protect themselves against those harmful risks, those same insurance providers are going to be looking not just for the deployment of security awareness, but what does that progressive human layer look like to be able to mitigate that risk and ultimately protect those premiums as well.
Yeah, and with that kind of in place as well, I guess in the next coming few years, what are you excited about with usecure? What do you see coming up that might give you a bit of a competitive edge? What are you excited about there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in a position today to talk in any great detail, or indeed much detail, around our upcoming product roadmap. But one of the big reasons for why I decided to join usecure after leaving Paxate was speaking to the team, speaking to the board around the investment opportunities and where we sit in the market. I mean, usecure has a well-known product portfolio, specifically in the UK. And as we look to expand further into EMEA and North America, we'll be looking to take that as well. Automation continues to be a paramount investment for us. Continued hyper-personalization as well. Thinking about how we can create richer depositories of data for MSPs and their customers to understand how they are improving, what they are doing, where those potential weak spots look like. What partnership opportunities are there for usecure with other third-party security vendors? Again, it's the whole better together story. How do we create a best-in-class technology stacks that delivers the outcome for the MSP and the customer? I think it would be remiss for me to give this type of interview without talking to the role that AI plays. We are going to, if not already seeing, an explosion of various AI tools within the workplace. I would argue that at this stage, there's a lot of shadow IT with individuals across the organization wanting to install this browser plugin, that tool, whatever it may be. Do the SMBs have those policies in place? Does our training simulations reflect the AI landscape, especially as we see more sophisticated attacks being derived from the use of AI tools? And if we also think about how the barriers to entry for kind of cyber criminals to target users becomes lowered through the proliferation of AI tools, we have to respond to that. So I'd expect to see not just the deployment of AI in our solutions, but how can we speak to the role that AI plays in any given organization, both in terms of that user awareness training, but also the policy piece as well.
Amazing. Well, I'll definitely be keeping an eye, and that's all my questions. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.